Hey, everybody, listen, welcome in the building. It's Tuesday night trending topics, and it's election day. Did you go vote? I voted. I went out and voted. Voted with the kid. We voted early this morning, so I got my vote in. I hope you're all voted. It matters. It makes a difference. We got to vote. But listen, people, it's Trending Topics Tuesday, and we got stuff to talk about. The title is called Unbelievable Stories. Unbelievable stories. And I'm going to, every now and then, because we have to do these sensitive topics, I'm going to ask y'all for one of these topics to keep an open mind and be sensitive, right? So we have this Tish Hyman. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. I never heard of her before this. This is respectfully. I just did not. She's a singer. She's part of the LGBTQ plus community. And she used to go to Gold's Gym. So she said she was in the gym, and she says she's a lesbian woman. She said she was in the gym. She went to Gold's Gym, working out, doing her thing. And she said she went to the ladies' bathroom. She went, took a shower, was cleaning up after her workout. And she said, boom, she turns around and there's a man there. Now, she said it was a transgender man, or I don't know. I'm going by a Tish, okay? It's this Tish story. Well, we're going to talk about it because we got to dissect the topic that she's talking about. So she says she saw a man in the bathroom. It happened to her more than once. She said she did not feel safe. She said she didn't feel safe. And she said that is a new gym. If it's a new gym and they want to welcome everybody, she don't got a problem with that. So she said they should have made an extra bathroom. But she needs to be able to feel safe when she's going to work out and she's in the gym. And she said she saw too many men in the woman's bathroom. So she came out on a rampage talking about she don't want to see no more ping in the bathroom. Well, they canceled her membership. So we got a lot to talk about with that story. And that's what we do over here. We talk about the trending topics, unbelievable stories. We're going to talk about it. Then we got this chef. He was robbed. And when they robbed him, they pow-powed him. Not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, 11 times. But he survived. And we're going to hear his story of survival. I'm going to talk about it. Then, I don't know if y'all remember this story, but it's a Netflix documentary right now, and many people said they cried when they watched it, and then they forced me to watch it, and I watched it, and I cried too. It's called The Perfect Neighbor. This neighbor was terrorizing kids in the neighborhoods for years. Not even days or months, for years. Years. And then unfortunately, one fateful night, she took the life of her neighbor. It was a mother of 4, lost her life because this neighbor just wasn't in her right state of mind, is the easiest way I can say it. So she ended up getting arrested, but listen, the people had to call for her to get arrested. Like, they was protesting for this woman to get arrested. She finally got arrested because at first they was trying to say she was doing a stand your ground situation. But the people in the neighborhood and her family, they wasn't having it. They call her Ajike Owens. It's the woman that lost her life. May she rest in peace. Her kids got money. they sued the police, they sued whoever they sued, and they got money. I think they got 10 million, but like they said, they would rather have their mother back versus some $10 million. And I want to say they sued the neighbor too. Well, now this woman from behind bars, to insult to injury, she got the nerve to say she's going to sue her kids, the woman who life she took. She's going to sue her kids and the actual person who owned the house that she claims she owned. Some people really don't know when to let stuff go. It's bananas. It's crazy. But we're going to talk about it. So listen, people, y'all know what time it is. It's time for me to bring the people on in the building. So y'all know what I need in the chat. I need a what? I need a choo-choo. All aboard, everybody. It is Tuesday night trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. The title is called Unbelievable Stories. We got the Tish Hyman in the gym backlash. We got the chef that got shot 11 times and survived. And we got a mother's injustice. It's just sad. Let me bring the people on in the building. Hey, Felicia. Hey, in my opinion. So,
hi, David. Choo-choo.
Choo-choo. I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm going to start, with this Tish Hyman gym backlash story where she's saying she got some legit concerns, I'm going to call them. But, sometimes the way we deliver our message, it gets diminished by the delivery, right? So she has some valid points, but I think her delivery is what diminished her message. So let's get into this story. So singer Tish Hyman, I never heard of her. If you
want to make the world a better place.
The world a better place?
Better place. You just have to.
Let's give me a minute with that. I wasn't ready for it to play. All right. So singer Tish Hyman, men in women's locker room scared me. No protection for us, she's saying. So she's saying there's no protection for the ladies. Singer Tish Hyman is explaining the buildup to her epic rant about grown men with big D's in the women locker rooms at Gold's Gym. And she says it wasn't an isolated incident that led her to speak out, but a series of scary encounters. Okay, so hold on one second. Before I play where she explains herself, let me play her rant for you so you can understand what happened.
Gold's Gym! Men! Grown men with big dicks in the women's locker room! And that's why I'm getting kicked out, and I want to make sure the girls know! Everybody saw that man in the locker room! No one's saying shit! And I'm done with it! It's stupid! It's dangerous! Me naked in front of a man without my permission. But I ain't the one who gets kicked out the gym, y'all. I'm terminated for not wanting men in the locker room.
So that was her rant. And they revoked her gym membership, but she came to TMZ to talk about it. So let's hear her explanation.
Weeks ago, the first encounter happened. I was naked. I was drying up and oiling up. I turned around and there's a man in the locker room. And so, of course, I'm shocked. I'm like, I thought maybe I missed the sign and that there were workers working. So I just said, sir. I didn't even get to say a sentence or anything. I just was in shock and figuring out that there's a man behind me while I'm naked. And I say, sir. And then he goes, you can't tell me nothing, B word, I'm a woman. And I'm like, what? Now, listen, guys, I don't have anything against anyone. So I was just in shock. I've never been presented with this in my whole entire life. So I'm just in shock and I go start screaming and asking for help. the people come into the locker rooms and they kind of escort him out, but not out of the gym, just out of the locker room so I could get dressed. And then I made a report and nothing was followed up on. And that was an experience that I couldn't even believe, and I had to understand this. So now I'm processing this, still trying to keep up with my life. I go back to the studio, I work. The next day I do it. I try to do my same routine, go to the gym. I say, maybe this is an isolated incident. The next day I go there and I run into this perpetrator, this predator, because I have to call it like it is. This guy, and I'm coming into the gym, so I'm just already traumatized from yesterday being naked. And now I'm seeing a whole nother dude that's bigger than the last dude in the room. So now I'm like, sir.
Tish, so there were two different people?
There are multiple people. There are multiple people. The reason why I spoke out like this, guys, is because I've had this experience with trans women in the women's locker room disrespecting me, not meeting me with any empathy, literally men who are crazy. And this happened like 6 to 7 times in the last 3 to 4 weeks. It hasn't been a month.
I'm not trying to be gratuitously graphic, but were the people that you saw in the locker room undressed? Were they completely naked walking around?
No, let me be clear. I want to get into this to the details because it's important, the details. Now, were the men naked? No. They were men in men's clothing in the locker room. They don't need to be naked to be scary as hell.
This sounds like a ridiculous question, but if they were in the process of transitioning, I don't know. Was it evident to you? Why was it evident to you they were men? I mean, were they people?
Because they were men. 1 month. I don't want to, listen. Like I said, I don't know much about this particular part of the community. I'm not in that lifestyle. I'm just a lesbian living life. So up until this point, I had no idea that these people were allowed to go into the women's restroom. I saw the sports and I was like confused. I thought maybe this is going to be overturned. There's no way they're going to let this go through because this doesn't make sense. It's just, but somehow that did happen and it is happening. So now I'm being met with all of this like this, right? And the type of woman I am, the type of human being I am, I am a musician. I'm not into politics. This is a nonpartisan issue. This is about women and men and women's safety. And honestly, since I spoke out, I've heard from more men as well. It's happening to them in their locker rooms with women. And although it's not a physical danger, it's uncomfortable and it's an invasion of privacy. Like, I'm 42 years old. Can you imagine a 20-year-old woman? So let me get through to this because I need the people of the world to understand what's happening here. This happened 6 to 7 times in a 30-day period. Of course, I was fed up by the time y'all saw this. So the second time, this guy, I walk into him in the locker room and I say, sir, you just can't be in here, like in this tone, because I'm just like, I can't believe I'm walking into this a day after this happened to me the first time. He says, B-word. I'm a woman. Get with it. Get the F out of the locker room if you don't like it. And I'm in shock. I'm like, are you kidding me? So now I'm like, all right, let me read the law. Because there's no way that there's no protection on women. I just couldn't believe it. And the more I went out there and started reading, I was like, oh, snap. There is no protection for women.
These were not transgender women who were presenting as women. They were presenting to you as men. Is that right?
These were transgender women who said they were transgender women and told me that they were women. I'm not going to get into the who presented game over here.
Well, I think it's important. I think that's important. You said they were obviously men. So
they were men, and they were telling me they were trans women, and that's how they identified. And honestly, not all of them. The one I saw the last day that I worked at Gold's Gym, who saw my naked body, the last day that they terminated my membership, came in there and said, lucky I ain't catch you outside. A black passing, quote-unquote, trans woman.
So your membership has been revoked. And
we need to cancel gym memberships all around America because there's no protection for women's safety. If you stand up for women, if you have a daughter, you have a sister, there were girls in there who were traumatized, and they're thanking me for being there. And I didn't do this for any attention or anything. I did this because I was genuinely scared that no one was going to be there to warn the girls. There are no signs in there to tell the girls, hey, there are men in here. No one cares.
We got it.
Where are the bathrooms? Gold's just built that gym in Beverly Center. Why didn't they put a trans restroom in there if they care so goddamn much?
Ooh, this is a lot to dissect. I know it is. But
In my first pregnancy, I gained 65 pounds. During my second one,
I hate when it does that. Give me a minute. I'm trying to stop it. There we go. All right. So singer Tish Hyman is explaining the build-up to her epic rant about grown men with big D's in the women's locker room at Gold's Gym. And she says it wasn't an isolated incident that led her to speak out, but a series of scary encounters. Tish joined TMZ Live Tuesday and told them she came across several trans women in the women's locker room at Gold's Gym who made her feel uncomfortable and afraid. She says the trans women were fully dressed but looked like men and were rude and threatening towards her, calling her a bitch on multiple occasions. Tish says she got fed up with the interactions and a lack of response or protection from Gold's Gym, leading to her epic rant and confrontation that got her kicked out of the Beverly Center location. One of the confrontations was captured on video, and we tracked down the person from the clip, a trans woman named Alexis Black. Alexis joined us on TMZ Live Tuesday as well, reacting to Tish comments and telling us her side of the story. So let's hear the other side. Hold on one second.
We spoke with Tish, and she said when she came face to face with you, it was obvious to her you were a man. So, I don't want to get terribly graphic here, but can you kind of explain, how you appeared? Do you believe that she was reading something in that you didn't appear to be male? She perceived you to be such.
Well, first, I told the people that raised me that this is the way that I was when I was 8 years old. And really, I stuffed it down pretty deep. And I began using hormones this year in February. And I actually relinquished that information to her about, name change. And it says female on my ID and hormones. And I mean, I'm registered as a female with the gym. So.
And were you at that moment, because she told us about a couple of different encounters, were you fully clothed at that moment?
Well, she has become aggressive with me on 4 different occasions, actually at different locations in Los Angeles at Gold's Gym. But fully clothed. I believe I was enrobed in a towel on one occasion. And this last time I was clothed the entire time. Yeah.
Okay. Again, I apologize if this is too graphic, but I just think it's important. Let's speak truth, baby. Okay. Have you fully transitioned?
Be clearer when you say that.
Your genitalia.
That is a process that requires a quite lengthy work. Like, for instance, I sat in a chair and had hair follicles removed from my face for 2 hours yesterday in a process called electrolysis. In order to have that surgery down there, one must have every single hair done that. And in order to do that, it would take we'll just say a year or two to have that done. That's literally not even a possibility with where I am in my transition.
So look, from her perspective, I'm just wondering if you see her perspective. She's saying that she's looking at you, say, in a towel, and you still have male genitalia, and you may be transitioning, but could you understand her being uncomfortable?
Well, I certainly do not understand it, but I do get the notion of the fear mongering that she's perpetuating. The truth in the moment is far from what she is purporting it to be. Literally every time that she's done that, I've had women in the locker room comforting me because of how aggressive she was towards me.
So, we have seen video of that confrontation just outside of the locker room between yourself and Tish. And at the end of it, I saw that, Alexis, you walked back into the women's locker room. But I understand that you also have had your membership revoked by Golds. What did they say to you?
Well, initially, they said that she and I guess Tish is her name.
Correct.
Initially, they said we were in the same boat. But, I mean, Golds, it's been bought by EOS now. So they phoned me and I'm not sure if it's written in red ink or what, but it's definitely being evaluated. I love that place. Golds is like my sanctuary, especially at the Beverly Center. Catch me there. I love that place.
So she was saying, why don't they have a third bathroom? Especially the gym you're talking about at the Beverly Center, that's been recently built. They had a layout that they could have adjusted and they could have put a third locker room in. Do you think that would have been appropriate, or do you feel like you are as entitled to use the women's locker room just as Tish is?
You know, that's a great question. I'm glad that she said it, that you have put it on the air. And the answer is that would necessitate two different ones, because some people trans MTF, some people go FTM. And so that's two rooms right there. You're not going to put a trans woman with a trans man just because we're trans. That seems like a new envelope of discrimination. But yeah, it's just like, I feel like this had to happen in order for people to learn about trans. It's like it's a thing. We're here. We're going anywhere. We've been here for thousands of years. There's like 10 species of animals on Earth that do this too, just by the way, everybody. And but about the bathroom, am I entitled to it? I know that I'm a woman. Should they have built another one to necessitate building this room? People would have to have the level of comfortability within themselves that I do. Not everyone possesses this much self-feminine power. It doesn't happen. Not in this patriarchal system of which we've been living for so long.
Okay. All right. Alexis, we appreciate you joining us. This is clearly going to be something that Golds is going to have to
a lot of gyms. And
a lot of gyms, yes.
Thanks for the time. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I've been kicked out of Planet Fitness and Crunch.
So for Alexis to say she's been kicked out of Planet Fitness and Crunch, then there's something going on, right? For her part, Alexis says she is transitioning and taking hormones, but still has male genitals, though she says she's never fully exposed to Tish, aside from wearing a towel over her private parts. Alexis tells us she's not sure why Tish, who claims she was the aggressive one, felt uncomfortable, but says something like this was bound to happen. And she explains why building an extra locker room for trans people isn't so cut and dry as a solution. This is definitely not a cut and dry situation. But do I feel that Tish maybe has, I'll tell you my thoughts after I go to, in my opinion, in 48. In my opinion, what are your thoughts?
Diva. My thoughts is she shouldn't have to feel uncomfortable so somebody else can feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
We go to the gym to work out, not to get stressed out. And what was in her mind when she turned around and see these big dudes that are claiming that they're women, but clearly you talk like a dude, you look like a dude, and then you want us to say you're a woman. I really don't think people understand. The smaller the person is, the worse the fear is going to be. The younger the person is, the worse the fear is going to be. because they don't know this stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. You be whoever you want to be, but make sure you're not making somebody else feel comfortable in their own skin. I shouldn't have to tone down who I am naturally to make you feel comfortable in your unnatural state. I'm sorry, it feels that way. I wish they would come up with a better way if they're going to allow people to come in these places like this. They need to figure out a way that it doesn't make people feel uncomfortable. I wouldn't want a woman in the men's locker room. I feel like there's a big that this is accident for anything to happen, because now a man could come in there and say he's transitioning only to be a peeping tom in the women's locker room. Standards where people could start getting assaulted and everything else in these women locker rooms. Because how do you tell when somebody's a trans? You know what I'm saying? Are they showing paperwork to identify that they're going through the system of transition? Like, you're putting women in danger for no reason. You're scaring them for no reason. And then you don't even have a sign up that say, hey, there may be a trans in the locker room at any point in time. Please let me know so I know not to use y'all locker room.
Or say this locker room is just a mixed bag. Like, it's not, like this locker room is open to everybody who identifies. You don't necessarily have to say trans, but this locker room is open to anybody who identifies as a woman. You need, and then the men's need the same thing. Seem to say the same thing. This locker room identifies for anybody who identifies as a male.
Yeah, but male offenders can go in there and say,
"Oh no, I don't disagree with you, but I feel like a person can sue because you got the sign up saying this is a woman's locker room, this is the male's locker room. So you should clarify to me that when I walk in this locker room, I can also see people who identify as a male or a female. So I'm not shocked when I run into somebody else, right? So it is, and I'm understanding what you're saying, in my opinion, because there's a story where I guess the male was transitioning to a female on a college campus. And I don't, with the lawsuits and all the wokeness or whatever, they allowed him to move in to the female sorority house. And they was complaining because they said every time they turned around, the one that was transitioning, he was aroused. His private parts would be erected. It was a mess. And this is a true story. You could look it up. It was at a college campus. I just didn't do that particular story, but it's a lot. It's a lot. And then just, I don't know the whole dynamics of it, and I don't want to get too far because I don't want to offend anybody. But if you're transitioning from a male to a female, and I'm taking a wild guess that you are going to be into men as a female. It's just a wild guess. I don't know. I guess you could be into females too. But why is your body parts being aroused when you're seeing all of these females with no clothes on? It was a mess. So I'm connecting to what you're saying. It got to be a better balance here, so that everyone involved can feel comfortable. 48, your thoughts?
Hey Diva, hey, in my opinion, in the chat. Diva, I think that he's full of crap, figuratively and literally. If you go to the window, then walk all the way to the wall, drop your towel, and sweat drips down your balls, you don't need to be in the female's locker room. I think that if you want to be in the female's locker room, you have to go through the full transition. I think that Harvey kind of like got him when he asked about, well, they built the new gym, so why don't they just build an extra bathroom for trans people? Then he said, or she, whatever, out of its mouth, Well, ooh, that would be kind of like different. So you can understand feeling uncomfortable for yourself, but you don't understand women feeling uncomfortable. And then if you're all trans in this community and you're all together, why would it bother you to be in a bathroom with a woman who has a woman private and you want to be a woman with woman parts and the female wants to be you with the male parts? I don't get why it would be such a big thing if this is just who you think you are. And then you will be among people that wouldn't judge you. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone in this locker room will know this is a trans individual. I think that's fair. But to me, if we're going to accept them, then you need to go all the way with it. Just don't tell me that. Now, I'm not saying that you have to do that. I'm saying if you want to
You
access
understand me?
spaces with women, then you need to go through that full transition to pass as a woman.
And it's a fair conversation to have, right? It's a fair conversation to have. And you made a really good point. Is you want Tish to be comfortable with you being in the woman's locker room, but you think it is crazy for them to build a different locker room and all of the individuals that are transitioning go to that particular locker room. And then when you're finished with your transition, you go to the male or the female, whichever one you transition into. Yeah. Why would that be so wild to think and speak of? It does need to be a better balance, because when a lot was happening to the Black people, they came up with the Black Lives Matter movement. I think all genders matter. No matter if you are a woman, identify as a woman, you are male, or you identify as a male, or you are transitioning in between. All genders matter. Everybody should feel comfortable. But see, what I caught with Alexis is she was talking a little sideways. Tish goes to Gold's Gym. She claimed that Tish messed with her at several locations, right? That was Alexis' claim. But then Alexis at the end said she got kicked out of Planet Fitness, Crunch. So is it something in the water ain't clean? You got to tell us, Alexis, why are you getting kicked out of all of these other gyms? Tish is not at those gyms. So that led me to believe that Alexis is not telling the full truth, right? Alexis has other issues, I am Gold, and I'm with you on that, because it didn't make sense to me. First, you trying to act to us as if Tish has been harassing you at these other Gold Gym locations, but then you claim the new location was your jam, you love it there, and then you claim that the people had to comfort you in the locker room after Tish was so aggressive with you. But like I said, the key in Alexis' conversation that tells me she's not telling the full truth is when she says she got kicked out of other gyms. And then on top of that, I don't personally know anybody that transitioned and removed their body parts, but I don't think that you have to go through a year of electrolysis to remove your hairs just to have the surgery done. That didn't sound right either. But I'm going to move forward, and I will stay connected to this story to see if Tish gets her membership back, if she wants it. I don't know. But Alexis, you ain't telling us the whole truth and nothing but the truth. You're not. Something is missing in your story. Now, I'm going to go ahead and move forward to the next story. And I'm going to go ahead and do this chef that, was robbed and he got shot 11 times. When I first heard this story, I just felt like, there was something more to it, but maybe not. But he has since recovered. Lorincz Maddox said Alex is a liar. Oh my God. I'm gonna let me move into this next story. So Food Network star shares gory details of being shot 11 times in a Uber robbery as he dragged, he said he dragged himself to the curb, right? Nearly a year after surviving a near-fatal robbery, Food Network star Tobias Dorzan is opening up about the night that changed everything. The former pro football player 40 was attacked and shot 11 times outside his home in Hyattsville, Maryland, a random act of violence that left both him and his girlfriend hospitalized. Dorzan told people that the evening started with dinner at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. After a 30-minute Uber ride home, the couple pulled up to his house unaware they were being followed. A car stopped behind their Uber, and when Dorzan got out to open the door for his girlfriend, several armed men jumped out and opened fire. Ironically, it was the night he'd gone out without his security team. I was trying to cover her, and then I started getting hit, Dorzan said. I went to the ground and tried to drag myself toward the curb, but I couldn't hear my girl. That is him right there. It's him right there too. You got this last second of almost thinking, are you still going to be here? People walking towards you that just shot you multiple times. What are they coming for? Are they coming to kill you? Are they coming to rob you? You really don't know the end result. I'm just hoping my kids are good, he continued. Dorzan said the attackers made off with roughly $100,000 in valuables, including his watch and a diamond necklace. At that point, I'm thinking they're going to pretty much finish me off, he said. Despite seeing his hands covered in blood, he didn't realize how many times he had been shot. Somehow he managed to FaceTime his brother from where he was lying on the curb, propping his phone up to tell him what happened. His girlfriend, Crystal Swan, had also been hit and collapsed on the front lawn. A neighbor called 911 as the suspects fled in a stolen car, according to police. When Dorzan woke up in the hospital, doctors told him he might never walk again after losing all feeling below his left knee. That is him in the hospital. That's him. Swan, 39, survived and stayed by his bedside. I really didn't know what to take from everything, he said. For somebody that just never really been in trouble, I thought coming back home to build something in my hometown, being a hometown hero, something like that could never happen to me. I asked myself every day, was I wrong for going out that night? Should I have not went out that night? It's just so many different things that I ask myself, but here I am. I tell myself every day, God got a bigger purpose for me. In the months since the attack, Dorzan has devoted himself to recovery, spending nearly a year in rehab after doctors warned he might never walk again. In July, he took to Instagram to reflect on the journey and share an emotional update with fans. I don't have much to say because how do you put words to something like this, he wrote. There's no training for getting shot, no script for learning how to live with it. I'm still figuring out how to feel, still learning how to breathe in this new version of my life. But I do know this, God had his hand on me that night. He covered me. He covered us. And I thank him every single day for keeping me here. Now, Dorzan said he's channeling that gratitude into his passion for food. I'm just super grateful to be here, to be in the moment, and to still be able to cook and give people an experience, he told people. That has always been my biggest focus and my dream, to create a memorable food experience for others. Fans will soon see Dorzan back on television when Food Network's Tournament of Champions All-Star Christmas premieres Wednesday, November 5th. He's very lucky. To God be the glory. It's just sad how these individuals, like how somebody could just come up and shoot you like that. Why not just rob him if that's what you're going to do? Why all like shooting him 11 times to get his stuff? It's just crazy. Oh, he has 2 restaurants there. Thank you so much, Increase Matters, for that information. In my opinion, your thoughts?
God was with him. And it's a blessing that God was with him. I feel like this world is going through something right now. The people that in it don't give a dang whether they take your life or not.
Yeah.
All they worried about is what they gonna get from you or what they gonna take from you, and it's sad. I pray that he has a healthy recovery because this is gonna be a long time to recover. Um, and that he thank God every day because it could have been the day that he was gone, but he made it.
Ooh, 11 shots. Some people don't make it from one shot. If the shot just happens to hit you in the wrong place. So for 11 shots is to God be the glory that he did make it. 48, your thoughts?
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. To God be the glory. 11 shots. Like you said, Diva. Some people don't survive one, but what I would encourage him is to don't let these fools that did that to him discourage him for helping all the people in the community that he could help. You know how they say don't let that one apple spoil the bunch. It can still be and is still probably an inspiration to those young people out there, but it's a sad thing. Like, in my opinion, said this world is full of pain, full of abandonment, full of brokenness. It's a country full of broken people with dealing with all kinds of things of lack, all kinds of stuff. So I just pray that we all pray for the world, pray for the healing of this world. And I pray that he gets well and his family. But I do encourage him. Yeah, if he moves, it's understandable, because it's his life. It's not me. So it is understandable. But I just would encourage him to keep being a face in the neighborhood. You get what I'm saying, Diva? Like,
I do. I really do.
don't disappear from it. People are going to respect the fact that if he did decide or does decide to move, people will understand.
Yeah. Felicia, any thoughts on this story?
Uber driver get pop out?
Say that again.
Did the Uber driver get pop out?
No, not that I know of. Just him and the girlfriend.
I wonder if the Uber driver set him up.
Well, Felicia, any thoughts on this story?
Oh yeah. Hey everybody. Good evening. Hey 48. Hey opinion. So yeah, I think it's a testimony to courage and to bravery and for the will to want to live. And I don't know. Sometimes and so folks are probably not gonna like what I'm gonna say here, but he said they took his watch. And for some reason I'm thinking it must have been a Rolex. It must have been a very expensive, flashy kind of watch, and it caught the eye of somebody, and they decided that it was worth taking his life to get this watch. And then there was he had cash or something. Did he say cash? So maybe he closed out the business, and they saw him taking the cash, or something like that. And and you said this is what, 2 years ago?
It happened last year.
Last year. So we're far from that because I'm being very serious here. When you go shop for your turkey this year, be careful.
Yeah, no, yeah.
But be careful.
Yeah.
They're gonna be people held up at gunpoint about a turkey. Your life is gonna be in danger over some mac and cheese.
Yeah.
Because we have allowed the leadership in this country to take us to this place right now.
Yeah. Oh God.
Real children are hungry tonight, going to bed hungry tonight. There's a lot of sorrow out here, yeah, but there's also a lot of hope, and you need to stay smart. So no, don't be doing no big shop in the store by yourself. No, take extra eyes with you. Be alert.
Yeah.
Be alert. Because last year was a Rolex watch. This year is going to be a turkey.
Yeah. Yeah. This
I happen to agree with.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Sorry, I can't play it because it's music. But that's him because he had to learn how to walk again. This guy here. And
this guy with the short gray hair, he's famous too. What's that guy?
He's from, I can't play because he has music on this, but this is him walking.
The Will to Live. God
Yeah,
bless
the will
him.
to live. Sad. He said, November 5th, the devil wrote me a letter. I didn't write back. Hashtag God's favorite. 48 days later, the comeback going to be immaculate. I'll see you real soon. This was 45 weeks ago because he did this when it actually happened. But fought back. To God be the glory. All right.
It's a year.
Go ahead.
Tomorrow. See you later, best.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and roll into this last story. This last story is the young lady, Ajike Owens, who lost her life. She is the subject of the documentary that is on Netflix, very good, called The Perfect Neighbor. And the reason why they named it the documentary The Perfect Neighbor is because when they first arrested the woman who took Ajike's life, she claimed to the cops, like, I didn't do nothing. I'm the perfect neighbor. Like, you know, this was an accident. This wasn't me maliciously trying to take her life. Well, now this woman, the nerve of her, from jail, she's legit talking about suing Ajike's children and the actual owner of the house that she claimed all that time to the cops that she actually owned. And come to find out, she never even owned a home for the land that she claimed, you know, they was coming on her land and she didn't even own it. Let's take a listen.
I need medics. 1018. Hey, who all was out here when it happened?
When she started banging so hard, everything started shaking.
Points at the door, fires one shot.
And she said, I'm gonna kill you. And she's just banging away.
She shot the death with herself to death.
I panicked. And I was like, oh my God, she's going to kill me this time.
In our spotlight this morning, the Florida woman convicted of shooting and killing her neighbor says that she intends to sue the victim's family. Susan Lorincz was found guilty of manslaughter after she shot Ajike Owens through her locked door in 2023. She was sentenced to 25 years in prison and maintains that she was being harassed by Owens and her children. Here, she's being interrogated by deputies after the shooting.
I just remember being terrified that she was banging and screaming, and I just remember hearing her say, I'm going to kill you. I was in fear for my life. I mean, honest to God, I just feared that she was going to come through that door. I'm sorry, that's how I felt. I can't change the way I felt. I mean, it was sheer terror on my part. I mean, honest to God, I was shaking.
So fast forward to now, Ajike Owens' mother has a wrongful death lawsuit pending against Susan Lorincz. So apparently, in response, in a handwritten letter, Lorincz says she wants to countersue for slander, libel, and defamation of character. And she says she wants to sue Ajike Owens' mom, her minor children, and her landlord. I think this woman needs to go have a seat somewhere. Let's talk about it. Let's bring in our legal eagles, attorneys Melba Pearson and Joe Tamburino on the show. First, let's start with your reactions to this woman and what she's saying she intends to do next. Melba.
You already know.
Blood's boiling, right? Mine too.
Yes, I have very strong feelings about this case because I remember when it happened. I live here in Florida. I was involved in trying to help the family get justice for Ajike Owens, who should be here today. She was murdered in cold blood in front of her children. And this person dares to want to countersue and continue to traumatize this family. I mean, that just shows you the depths of depravity and evil that this person is. And oh, by the way, truth is an absolute defense to defamation, slander, and libel. So the fact of the matter is she harassed this family. The defendant did, not A.J. Owens, but this woman had a history of harassing children, harassing this particular family, and she is still trying to harass them even after A.J. Owens has met her maker at her hand. It is just utterly disgusting, and she needs to have several seats somewhere and just never come back again.
Yes, several seats, exactly, Melba. And you're right, truth is a defense to defamation. So these kids, A.J. Owens, her mom, all speaking the truth. If you watch the documentary, you know what we're saying here. I encourage you to watch it if you haven't seen it. It's on Netflix. And we have a little clip of the trailer. Let's take a look at that. Here's a little sample of it right now.
Sheriff's office. I called because the kids from across the street, they shouldn't be screaming and running around.
Okay.
All the kids like to play. Sharon said they can't walk or even throw their football over here.
Okay, little sample of it. Big history here. We broadcasted the trial, but the documentary gave us the benefit of all of that body camera footage from years prior that wasn't in the trial, that wasn't able to come in. Too many of those instances where we can see what this woman was doing. Joe, I want to read to you a little more that she put in this letter and get your reaction. She says that Ajike Owens and her children were trespassing. There were multiple no trespassing signs on the property. Ms. Owens did in fact scream, threatened to beat me multiple times while trespassing. Ms. Owens was instructed to stay off the property along with her children by the county sheriff's department. And let's be real clear here. None of that property even belonged to Susan Lorincz. It was a field next door where kids would play, doing what kids do. Joe, your response to Ms. Lawrence's threat?
Well, I think this is going to be completely dismissed because it's outrageous, but there's also a great legal reason why it's going to get dismissed, and that's the following. In all states, I don't know of one state where that's different. You cannot sue for defamation on the basis of what's said in court or what's said in the legal process, including depositions. Why? Because the legal system wants to encourage people to tell the truth or to tell their position regardless of what the outcome could be. So when you're in a deposition or you're in a trial and you say, Bill Jones is a lying sack, or he's the devil himself, or he's a pedophile, or whatever it is, you can't be sued for that. So there's an automatic privilege there in every state. And she's saying that these kids, these people defamed her when they testified and in their depositions. So legally, she's got no case. And then when you get to the trespass issue, look at two things. Number one is, what is the civil statute of limitations in Florida for civil trespass? I'm sure it's not years and years, so it might be barred by that. And second is, you have to establish who owns the property. And as you have just stated, Julie, she didn't own that property when she was complaining about these kids playing. So I think this is just going to get tossed.
Right. Oh, I love your analysis, Joe. Thank you for that. I want to take a look at this clip. This is after the verdict, so we're going back in time just a little bit. A.J. Owens' mother is caring for the children. And let's take a listen to some of what she shared after the verdict.
Please continue to keep the family and especially Ajike's 4 children in your prayers. Thank you.
The children are coping the best that they can. Certainly the loss of their mom lingers every single day. They are seeking counseling. And so we ask everyone to keep the children in your prayers, because right now they need the whole community to be behind them.
And that's what we want to do here. We want to end on the note where we're thinking of those beautiful children. One of them witnessed this. One of them witnessed the killing of their mother. Melba, I want to go to you for last words here. Tell us your thoughts about these 4 beautiful children. You see them all through the documentary. And now having their mother so brutally taken away from them. What must that be like for them? Would you speak to the trauma these children are going to have to endure now and then into their adulthood?
Well, Julie, just to almost set the stage on this, one of the older children actually expressed feeling guilt in terms of telling their mom that they were having, and that this woman, Susan Lorincz, was, being abusive towards them because he felt that if he hadn't have told his mom would still be here. So imagine being an 11, 12-year-old child feeling responsible for your mother's murder and having to carry that with you. Even though, yes, you can unpack that in therapy and all of that, but just to your core, feeling that you may have had a hand in your mother no longer being with you. And these children who now, for the rest of their lives, have to deal with the violent way that their mother was ripped from them, and the trial and the publicity, and now even the Netflix series. While wonderful that the story's out there, it's still another reminder of the pain that they're dealing with every day. So yeah, I fully agree that we need to continue to keep these poor children in our thoughts and to continue to say the name Ajike Owens, because she should be here with us today.
You're so right, Melba. Beautifully said. Thank you for that.
Oh, this woman is she's sick. Let me just run through a little bit more really quickly, and then I'll go around and get everybody's opinion. Susan Lorincz threatened to sue victim's family in a handwritten letter. A Florida woman convicted of shooting and killing her neighbor is now threatening to file a lawsuit against the victim's children. The jury reaches a verdict in the trial of Susan Lorincz, charged with manslaughter and assault in the June 2023 shooting and death of Ajike Owens. A jury found Susan Lorincz guilty of manslaughter after she shot Ajike Owens through her locked front door, killing her in June 2023. Lorincz was sentenced to 25 years in prison and has maintained that she was the victim of harassment from Owens and Owens' children. The neighborhood drama was showcased in the Netflix documentary, The Perfect Neighbor. Owens' mother, Pamela Diaz, filed a wrongful death lawsuit against both Lorincz and the owner of the quadruplex where she lived. The suit says that Charles Gabward, who owned the property, should have known that Lorincz had a propensity for gross negligence and/or intentional harm. In a handwritten letter filed with the court, Lorincz responds to allegations in the lawsuit and reiterates her accusations that Owens and her children were the aggressors, citing multiple no trespassing signs on her property. Lorincz claims that Owens' children would come over to my apartment and do ding dong ditch, which is when children knock on the door and run away. Lorincz says in the letter that she wants to countersue for slander, libel, and defamation of character for damages that exceed $50,000 against Owens' mother, minor children, and Gaybird. Lorincz letter says Gabriel failed to secure the property correctly and allowed the victim and her children to harass her. Lorincz closes the letter by writing, completion of fact and expert discovery to follow. Court records do not list any attorney for Lorincz in the civil case. No hearing dates have been set yet. This woman is sick. And these civil lawsuits, sometimes they just go too far. 48, your thoughts?
Yeah, I actually saw the documentary, and it was a lot of stuff going on. And one of the things that I didn't understand was why the police didn't arrest this lady like a long time ago, for just keep calling them about the same thing, wasting tax people money, because when they came out there, they never arrested anyone. Like the police were coming out so much that okay, yeah, it's her. That's how they referred to her. They didn't even take it seriously. And shout out to Miss AJ and all those people living over there, because all those parents in that documentary were on top of their kids. You heard them talking to their kids in the documentary about making sure you stay from over there. And I mean, not in it was friendly but stern. Mind your business, leave that lady alone. And she steady had a problem. And when you read that and she was talking about how they needed to put a gate onto the apartment or duplex wherever she was at, when you actually leased the apartment or the duplex, you did notice that you walked in and there wasn't a gate, right? Like, what are you expecting these new amenities because of what? And it's not even your property. The older white guy that owned the property next door, he said he told her that it was okay for them kids to play there. He told the police that it was okay. He told the parents that it was okay. And the parents kept compromising because they kept inching closer and closer away. But then it's like, how close can you get before a ball might accidentally hit the man that's being friendly enough to even let you play on his property? She's sick. And I hope when she in that jail, I really do. I hope people assault her every day. I hope somebody push her down. I hope somebody punch her in the face. I hope somebody kick her. I want violence done upon her. That's really what I want. And I don't feel bad about it. She don't look like she wanted to do that. And if Diva, you said you saw it from where she fired that pow pow, you couldn't have been fearing. If you was that scared, you were far away enough to where you could have gotten into your room. You could have called the police.
She was
You
behind
weren't
a locked
scared.
door. She was behind a locked door.
And Diva, remember in the video, behind the locked door, and it was a couch separating her from the door.
Yeah.
If you were really that scared, you could have called the police, because you called the police any other time.
She
I
did.
really
No,
said,
if you remember 48, she did call the police because they asked her.
oh yeah, you're right.
Yep, they asked her. You already called the police, so why didn't you wait? And she was talking about, oh, it took a long time. I think they told her the time was very short from when she called and when they got there.
Yeah, it was. I think it's ridiculous that she's even suing. And like you said, and like the people in that in the news said, it's traumatizing to her kids. And it was really sad to see her son feel that way. And like it really, like, it kind of make me emotional talking about it now, because he did everything his mama told him to do. He did everything. He didn't talk back. You could tell she raised some good children. You could tell every time they came. So RIP to Miss AJ.
Yeah. Faithful Leo said 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Wow.
And if I'm not mistaken, I felt like it was the cops. Like, I gotta remind myself, I felt like it was the cops that said the next time like something happens, like you told the mother to go over there and speak to her. I want to say the cops said that to her. The mother did what she was told to do, went over there to speak to this lady, and this lady takes her life. There was a lot of people that failed everybody in that neighborhood. That was a very sad documentary. In my opinion, your thoughts?
You know what? This lady lost her life for no reason. And all I keep seeing is people pointing their fingers at everybody else. But the cops failed her, the city failed her, and this property owner failed her. Because this many times on a call, they should have been locking this old lady up. This many times when you got this many complaints from the tenants, she should have been put out. I don't understand how this kept going on long enough for somebody to lose their life. And I for sure don't know how this lady thinks she's gonna sue anybody. I know she must have drove herself crazy up in that jail cell. But she never thought she was gonna get arrested, first of all. Let's be clear. At first they didn't arrest her. They didn't. I think they wanted to make this water under the bridge, but because of the community and internet outrage, then they had to prosecute. I really feel like had it not been so much media attention on it, had it not been for so many people speaking out, this lady would have got away with it, and she probably would have took somebody else's life. So this lady needs no justice, no peace, no nothing. Okay, I don't want to hear nothing she got to say until she served them 25 years. And I pray that when she's serving those 25 years, she croaked right on in there.
Thank you. Felicia, your thoughts?
Opinion's absolutely correct.
That woman they weren't planning on taking her in and charging her with anything. It was because of social media and the cry for justice why she was brought in. I personally think that she is what hate looks like. She's hate. Yeah. And when you come across that kind of hate, you need to recognize that there's something deeper, something darker in that person. And that person will harm you, your children, and anybody around you. I don't know why. I agree with opinion. Why she was allowed to remain in the neighborhood, and why she's even allowed to even send something out from put a document in saying that she wants some kind of compensation for anything. That should be reason enough to add another 25 years on. I don't want her to be beaten down in the jail. I don't want anybody beating her in the head and throwing her down. I think her freedom being taken from her is enough. I don't want her to ever be paroled. I don't ever want her to leave free. I want her to be dead when they take her remains out of the jail. But I don't want her to be tortured in there. She tortured people in her community for so long. And that's probably what she's missing, because she can't be torturing the people up in the jail. So she figures she's going to still go after this family. So this family's going to have to countersue her for whatever she has. I don't give a damn if it's her Social Security check. They got to go get it. I don't care if she has some kind of disability money. Go get it and shut her down. You have to answer her so that she doesn't have some default judgment on these children's lives as they become adults. It is very sad and it's very tragic that they're allowing her, this demon, this dark person, this evil spirit, to use the judicial system to say she's seeking justice. There is no justice there. 25 years was no time for what she's done. She should have got life in prison with no parole. Nobody has anything to say to her. Nobody has anything to give her. Clearly, nobody cares for her. She has nobody in her family coming to her aid, nobody giving her anything. So she's writing these handwritten pro se documents saying that she needs to find some kind of justice. No, they need to give her more time. No parole. Let her die in jail. I'm done.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Yeah, the police said they was 2 minutes away. Yeah, the whole story is devastating, and the part that really, there was a lot of heartbreaking parts. But when her son said my heart is broken, I just it was heart wrenching. When the dad had to tell the kids that their mother didn't make it when he found out, just sad. And I know the grandmother, and this is just, no judgment. I'm just wondering why the dad didn't take them on. I know they're living with the grandmother. It's just super sad. It's just super sad. Yeah, that documentary was definitely heart-wrenching. It was very.
But the dad looked old too, Diva. He looked like he was a lot older than AJ.
I think he was. But hey, you got the grandmother raising them. I mean, I don't know. God bless the kids and God bless the family. And this woman she's very sick, very sick. And just to see all the footage, all the previous times that the cops did go to the house, and imagine she probably would have got more time because they said that footage wasn't allowed in the trial. So imagine if the jury was able to see how many times they went to that home previously. She probably wouldn't have got manslaughter. She probably would have got straight up murder. And they could have gave her life. But if you remember the case, they had to fight to get this woman arrested. They didn't want to arrest her. Well, all those that saw the documentary saw that. It was very sad. But listen, guys, I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for coming through for trending topics. Some hard stories. God bless the chef, shot 11 times. I think I will move. My restaurant would be somewhere else, but that's me. God bless him if he's staying in Maryland with his restaurants. Tish, she got a story. And I'm not mad at her. And then, a mother's injustice. This woman is still just don't get it. Suing the kids who mother you took their mother away. lady, definitely have several seats. Y'all know the routine. If you ain't hit that like button on the way in, hit it on the way out. Good night. Goodbye, everybody. Choo choo.